Hi F2Ps, it's Goodfellow here from F2P.com, and today we are checking out Supremacy 1914 from Bitro Labs. It is a free-to-play browser-based strategy. Um, it's a little bit different from a lot of other strategies that we have played, and we're going to get into that. But first things first, there's no music with the game. Okay, there's no sound effects. When looking through the menus, there's nothing. There's nothing. So that's why it's just my voice. So you get to enjoy that, and that's just the way it is. Um, with this game, this is a first look. However, we've played it for technically a couple of hours, maybe. In daytimes, we've played it a couple of days, and that's because of the pace of the game. Okay, you keep coming back to this type of game, performing a few actions, leaving, and then coming back and playing again. We've tried to get into a position where stuff's actually happened, um, which takes a while. It takes a few days for things to happen. The reason being, it is by design. The game has this. It is a real-time strategy. So anything that we do now, the other players in the game will be able to see happening as they happen. So if we start moving our units into, to attack Belgrade, other players around could see these units being moved. They could have spies through the espionage feature, checking out our troop movements. So they will see things as and when we do them. The thing is that everything takes ages to do. So if I want to move these towards Belgrade, it's going to take 15 hours and 47 minutes for that unit to just go across that little bit of map to there, and you can see how big the map is. Okay, and that's 15 real hours. That's literally kind of going to bed, waking up, and then playing in the evening, and then your units have finally reached there. So obviously that means that with this game there is a lot of long-term planning that you need to do. You need to be aware of how far away your own units are from your own territories that you might need to defend. If you've got the enemy coming in, especially if you're being attacked from different fronts, then you need to know where you can reinforce your units. Especially if at the same time you're pushing out. So, like we decided that we were attacking Bulgaria, took Sofia, Nisk, Plovdiv. Sure, why not? And this was controlled by AI. There are 30 nations in the game that are real world nations or were real world nations controlling the appropriate territory for the time, for 1914, for the beginning of World War One, which is where this whole setting is. This is the conflict, and I guess we get to reshape World War One as we see fit with our own impact. So we control one of the 30 playable nations, and then the AI controls the rest. And with that, we just kind of dragged the units that we had and decided to just charge in and took over. So we've now control a bit more. Because we've taken 3 new territories, that means we've got 3 new buildings that we can construct stuff in. So with the construction, you go into this area here, you can construct buildings, you can construct land units, air units, and naval. Now the requirements not only are resources, you need to construct specific buildings. So if I wanted to construct cavalry in Sofia, I need to build a barracks level 1 and a workshop level 1. So I would start building a barracks. And that didn't do. Why did that not do it? I don't know. Maybe the game's syncing up a little bit oddly, which it sometimes does. Sometimes says, I don't know. Let's try it from here. Barracks level 1. No? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You have some little sync issues with the game every so often. Unless it's just me not being able to build in that city because it wasn't originally mine. Let's try Uxub. Where's Uxub? Maybe I can construct in here. So let's construct a barracks level 1. There we go, okay. So perhaps there's a reason why I can't build in these countries as foreign countries. I'm not sure, because it does appear in my buildable places. Maybe my people need to have a little bit higher morale. So morale, basically determines how happy my people are, and if they are unhappy, they won't really do anything. My morale is currently at 52%. I can raise it by spending premium currency. I can spend a bit more, and I can spend a bit more, and it's 82%, 92%, 100. There we go. I spent quite a bit, and that's premium currency. That's what you will pay money for. There's other ways to do it by watching videos and doing surveys, stuff like that, to get gold marks. But now let's see. Can I construct anything in Sophia now that these guys are happy? There we go. Okay, so they were just too unhappy to build, which makes sense. So with these guys, so there we go. So Famagusta, that's another territory that we took. You don't actually have to go in here. We've constructed a fortress, a recruiting office, and a barracks. So with that, we can't construct anything because these guys are all cheesed off as well. Maybe I should pick some happy people. There we go. Right. Oh, I can't build anything yet because I don't have. Okay, so this needs a workshop level 1. So I'm missing oil, so I'm missing one of my key resources, but I can spend gold. So I can spend Deutschmarks, gold marks. There you go, boop. So we have that. That's going to be finished in 10 seconds. Now, with the construction and resources are gained from the territories that you control. So Plovdiv has grain, you've got fish, iron ore, lumber, coal, oil, and gas, and money. But I think money comes in from everywhere. This kind of, in many ways, determines where you're going to want to attack people. Okay, whilst you might just want to wipe everybody out here, you're going to be stretching your resources thin, and you might not need any more. What is that coal? So you might not need to attack these two just yet. So you might want to focus around and try and take out Constanza, which that looks like they've got an oil refinery there. I'm not sure. They've got a harbour. Got some buildings in there. But you can check that. You could go to espionage, and let's close this. So with your different spies, you can recruit spies, and then you can get them to perform different abilities. So spies on intelligence mission gather information about the enemy's diplomatic and economical activities. And you can sabotage missions to damage the enemy's resource production and morale, or interfere with the enemy's military plans and infrastructure. So you've got options. Again, you can spend gold marks to have these actions perform automatically. Otherwise, they take a while to do. Now, you're probably kind of getting an idea how strong or how involved gold marks are. It's an element of the game that I actually really don't like. Now, you would have to spend a hell of a lot of money to constantly be spending gold marks, but I think you can tactically spend enough real world cash to give you a bit of a big advantage. And that's not to say, you could kind of rush through some units, you could buy some resources, you could do all this stuff, but then, the four countries surrounding you might still decide they're going to destroy you, and you're not going to spend enough gold to take them out. But if you're against players that are playing fairly balanced and they're being a little bit cautious and not being overly aggressive themselves, then you're going to find that you can buy yourself quite an early advantage, which is an element of the game that I'm not a big fan of. It is walking the line of pay to win a little bit too easy, and whilst you can say it's paying for convenience because it means that you're just getting things that are a little bit quicker than anybody else can get, the fact that this is a PvP based game and it is a competitive game, the whole point is to try and get ahead of your opponent, and that's how you win. You can buy that advantage. You can buy getting ahead of your opponent, especially when it takes days to move around or days to build things. If you can skip all that by just spending cash, then you're kind of bypassing what a big part of the game is, the big part of the strategy element. But there's that many people that actually do it, you kind of have to be willing to be part of it, I think, which is a shame. I think it's if you're the type of player that doesn't mind spending some money on premium currency, then it's not going to be a problem for you. Not personally my kind of thing. But anyway, we're talking about espionage, and it's showing all different diplomatic relationships and actions and stuff like that. One of the cool things about the game is that you have a newspaper, and this gives you a day-to-day basis of everything that's happening in the day. So starting from one, so day one, after day one, these are all the things that happened. This is showing who's made an alliance, day two. So we're currently on day 8, and that's real world day 8. It's showing who's currently got the mightiest army. We don't have a lot because we've not actively been playing the game. It shows who's been declaring war, which cities have fallen. So you've got a cool little overall snapshot of the big things, but then you can obviously find out your own personal stuff with your espionage. And that's the cool thing about the game. You know, it is real world interactions. It is trying to find out information about other players and their nations. It is forming coalitions. So, you know, establishing alliances to have cooperative victory conditions. It's running the stock market and buying grain and buying and trading with other players. You know, if you have an ally that you want to keep an ally, then you know you might be open to trading with them and giving them a good deal on resources that they can't get hold of. Similarly, you might try and monopolize a resource in an area where you know that one of your rivals doesn't have access to it, so you're trying to make sure that they still can't get access to it. So loads of cool little things like that. And again, you've got diplomacy. You can kind of go through people and go, hey, you, I'm going to declare war on you. And I can declare war on central USA because they're miles away. They're not going to do anything. I mean, it takes... Let's have a look. How long does it take this dude to get to there? So that's going to take him a day and 4 hours to get there. I imagine it's going to take Central America a while to reach me, so I can declare war all day long. That's not a problem. But if he makes an ally with Italy, for whatever reason, Italy might decide that they want to fight me, so always be a bit careful with stuff like that. But essentially, that is kind of what the game is about. It is managing your resources, expanding your borders so that you have more resources and places to build, managing your population with their morale, and fielding a bigger army. Now, as far as the armies go, you have various different units that you can construct based on whatever buildings you've unlocked. And again, this takes time, so everything can take from minutes, hours, days, potentially even weeks. But some stuff you need some higher level buildings that aren't necessarily unlocked yet. I think factories weren't initially unlocked when I started playing, and I don't know whether that's you need certain buildings constructed at certain levels before they unlock, or whether they only unlock on a certain day. So we're now on day 8. Things might, certain buildings might only unlock on day 5, meaning you can't get these early units until that particular day. So it kind of structures the advancement and keeps the game balanced slightly instead of players being able to just purchase the best units very early on. So it avoids it in that way. But yeah, so you would construct cavalry, and that's going to take 23 hours. So it's basically 24 hours. It's going to take a day before Drama has a cavalry unit, and that's what I'm saying. You can set everybody. Building some new building, uh, training up some new units, but you can only do it with as many cities as you've got available and how many resources you've got available. If you've not got the resources, you're not going to be able to do this anyway. So there's only so much you can do. You can then, go into the espionage and say, okay, well, let's have a look at. Let's click somebody who's nearby. So we've got the 8th Infantry Division. You could do. Want to check out these guys. Let's have a look what we've got. Show. I'll come out of here. Austria-Hungary. Report player. Oh, okay, so this is Kaiser Baxter Boy. So they are a real player. That's what we like to see. Okay, so how do I spy in that regard then? We are gonna go to that. I want to click Sarajevo and spy. Why is it not doing it? Select province. There we go. I'm just being an idiot. So I can reveal armies, country information, decrease morale. Let's reveal armies. It might only reveal that one though, which we already have, so that doesn't really help us. So let's do this one. Let's reveal armies there. So he's got 23 there, 23 there. Is that him as well? So that's Austria-Hungary. So we know that this dude has got quite a few units floating around. And we could decide that, oh, let's just reveal all his armies. There we go. So now we know everybody that he owns. We can get a good snapshot. And again, we're just buying this advantage with gold marks, which I don't like. But espionage, cool option. Coalitions, trading, managing resources, diplomacy, snapshot, world overview, and all that kind of cool stuff. But there's only so much you can do. So once you've set everything into motion, you're logging out for the day and you're going to come back and check to see how things have gone on, check your newspaper to see which victories and battles you won, and see where you come in the current standing. We're at number 24, but that's no surprise because we've not been actively playing it. Whereas Northern Russia, they're doing pretty good. We were at war with Northern Russia. We've probably declared war on them because we declared war on everybody. Because we're crazy like that and we're not going to be carrying on playing the game, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's an interesting game. It's one that you have to be prepared to play it long term. You don't get that initial quick fix of action gameplay, but I think once you have started strategizing, whether on your own or working with other players, which I think would be really cool, to try and take down another opponent, it does have that risk board game element to it. You know, it's thinking tactically, it's kind of looking at the bigger picture and okay, how do we attain that victory that we want? What steps do we have to go through to get to it? It adds a fun element to the game, which isn't that quick fix. It is the beauty of building something bigger, and it's not going to be for everybody. It's the kind of game that I think players initially playing it that don't know what it's about would get bored because it feels like there's nothing that you can do. But if you're willing to give it a chance, then I think it could offer quite a lot. The free-to-play element is there. The gold marks do offer an advantage, but to what extent, it's hard to say. Whether you can be competitive without them, I wouldn't want to necessarily make a comment on, because that wouldn't be fair. But I imagine that it's the kind of game where a lot of people that are competitive do spend cash, at least to keep, either to give them the edge or to keep them on par with other players that are paying for the edge. So there you go. That's kind of what you've got available, and there's not a hell of a lot. I mean, you look around, there's not that many menus to check out. You've got a global chat. You have a premium high command membership that you can pay for, and that gives you a couple of extra benefits, some queuing for construction, some private chat, that kind of stuff. But it's kind of hard to kind of point anything out. You know, if attacking people, all you do is just drag units. You know, let's scare the Austrians. Let's go and attack him. Yeah, we're gonna go and attack Austria-Hungary. We're gonna go and attack him with everything, which is harsh because he's a real player and we're not. But what does it matter? There you go. Give him something to do. But we're going to weaken our forces so he'll be able to plough through and take us over very soon, and he knows that we're an enemy. But then they slowly make their way across and they keep attacking him until we take the territory, and then we get access to more fish, which is always a good thing for any war effort. I'm sure you'll agree. So there you go. That is the game. It might not look like a whole lot. It's very basic. There's not even sound, but you don't need it. It is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a tactical, strategic, long-term MMO. So if it's something that you feel like, yeah, that looks cool, I feel like I could keep picking away at it, just a couple of hours every so often, then give it a whirl. It's free to play. Supremacy 1914, if you want to play some of the other games that Bitro do, they have Call of War 1942, which is essentially the same kind of game, a few more modern features, but is set in World War Two. 1942. I think it might be the beginning of it. I think it's, I don't know. But anyway, this is kind of their flagship title. This is the first one that kind of launched the subsequent titles, and it's decent. Okay, it's got a really good community, really active community. The forums are pretty active to check out what people are up to. Lots of advice on there, lots of guides on who to try and start with and what you should do, depending on the nation that you start with. So if you want to play the game, check it out. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you want to see more of our videos as and when we release them. Make sure you've got the notifications turned on, and as soon as we put something up, you'll be the first to know about it. We do all sorts of reviews of new games, old games, closed beta, alpha access, all that good stuff. You can check us out on Facebook and Twitter at f2pcom, or over on our official website at www.f2p.com. So thank you guys for watching. I have been Goodfellow, you have been you. This has been Supremacy 1914, and hopefully we shall see you in the next video. Bye bye!